Hello, fans, and welcome to CityTV's 2014 football season. I'm Rufus Washington, joined by Higideo DeLeo, along with Sebastian Spencer. And we've got others who are waiting to join us as well. But we're here at Hal-Cap Field for tonight's contest between the Hawthorne Cougars and the Vikings of Blair High School. Blair's out of Pasadena. They've made the ride down. You hear the band in the background, but we've got some thoughts and some ideas about what you're going to see tonight. I'm going to start first with Higideo, and Higideo, give us a little bit of background about what we can expect from this Hawthorne Cougar team.
Well, I talked to Coach Donald Paysinger yesterday, the head coach in his second season now with the Hawthorne Cougars. He's very, very excited about his team. He says he has a very athletic team, 9 sophomores starting for the varsity team here tonight. He's very excited. He's pushing them because he thinks this is a much more talented team than what he had last year. Should be for a competitive matchup here tonight.
From what you know, the Daily Breeze has them as a dark horse in the league this year. Do you think that's deserved?
Definitely, they left on a high note, beating Beverly Hills in the last game of the 2013 football season. Hawthorne is high. The defense is going to be very aggressive, Rufus. Watch out for a lot of blitz packages from Paysinger's Cougars here tonight.
Well, it won't be easy for them because they're facing a Blair team that's on the rebound themselves. They just came off a 30-game losing streak, got their first taste of victory last week, so Coach says they're pumped up. Sebastian, what do you think about this Blair Viking team?
Definitely. Blair comes in with a lot of experience in Coach Ricky Pickens in his first year. Just like Higideo DeLeo talked about with Coach Paysinger in his second year, 2 new coaches trying to establish themselves with these teams right now. And he has a lot of experience. We'll see what they can do tonight.
And folks, there are a lot of changes that are abounding in the South Bay. Teams have changed leagues. We'll get to all that for you as we go along. But tonight, we've got an exciting broadcast tonight right here at Hal-Cap Field as the Hawthorne Cougars host the visiting Vikings from Blair High School. Stay right where you are. Action starts in just a moment. Hello, fans, and we are here at Hal-Cap Field for the 2014 kickoff of CityTV's coverage of South Bay sports. Hal-Cap Field, of course, as you know, is home to the Hawthorne Cougars. The Cougars will be taking on the Vikings of Blair tonight. One of the things that we've had is a little bit of moving around. Well, the Cougars, of course, are still in the Ocean League, as they have been for years, but they've got some company in terms of 2 new teams, Lawndale and El Segundo, and we'll develop that as we go along. But for right now, I'm joined by Higideo DeLeo, down sideline is Sebastian Spencer and Tammy Latta. We've got the officiating crew, which we'll get to in a moment. But here's the setup. The Cougars are getting ready to kick off to a very young and inexperienced Blair team, but a team that's got their first win in 30 games, so they're kind of stoked and pumped.
Exactly, Rufus. This is a brand new team this year, brand new coaching staff. They're trying to change the culture pretty much like Hawthorne did last year, bringing in Coach Paysinger. So this Blair team, Hawthorne beat them 69-0 last year. Don't look to see the same results this year in 2014.
And there you see the kickoff being taken by the Blair return man. That was number 5 for them, Charlton Blaylock. And he's brought down at about the 15-yard line. So from there, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Vikings.
And you asked Coach Pickens, what kind of offense can we expect from the Vikings tonight? He said, we're basic elementary football. We're going to run the ball down your throat, pass when we need to. In his words, nothing sexy from the offense tonight.
Nothing sexy, but he's a football man. He knows how to inspire his guys, and you're right. He understands that this is a rebuilding process, and this is but the second step in what's going to be a long journey. Again, coming off a win last week against Marshall, his old school, as a matter of fact. On their first play from scrimmage, they don't surprise us. He said they'd keep it on the ground, and indeed they did. With the carry for them, that was number 16 of all the guys he gave us. I'm not sure he gave us.
Kyle Kinley on the carry there. And that was the guy, Rufus, that Coach talked about. He's 3 years on the varsity level. He had 170 yards in last week's win for the Vikings.
We're going to set this Hawthorne defensive line, in fact, their whole defense, in just a moment. And boy, that is a big line that they have. Some initial contact, just enough to slow down the runner and bring him down as he crosses the 22 out to about the 23. First down, of course, is at the 25-yard line, so that's going to make it a 3rd and short for the Vikings.
So if they get this short down conversion here for a first down, the Vikings will set the tempo for the rest of the ball game.
There was contact in the backfield, but not enough to stop the forward progress. And so taking it out, picking up the first ground, as Egidio mentioned, was Kyle Candley.
Apparently, look, that's the guy that the Vikings are going to ride here tonight. Like I mentioned, 170 yards on the ground in that win over Marshall for Kindley. Already has a first down for the Vikings tonight.
Now, Hawthorne features some size up on that defensive line. They step into it. They only have 4 down linemen. This time they're able to rack them up in the backfield. Looks like, well, they'll give him back the line of scrimmage, it looks like, Egidio.
Exactly, a pack of red jerseys right on the running back on the toss there. Didn't go anywhere. Big guy, number 28 for the Cougars, Lasala Tai, a junior, 6'5", 240. Like you mentioned, a lot of size. He's the defensive end there on the right side for the Cougars.
Well, you got him. You got number 69, Suliasi Vaca. He's a junior at 6'3", 228. That's what they list him at. Boy, looks a lot bigger than that. But, boy, right now the running attack of the Vikings doing a good job of getting past the down linemen and forcing the linebackers to come up and make the hits.
Exactly. Can't get any more elementary than this. They're running up that A gap, up the B gap, and this offensive line is pushing this defensive line enough to get some more yardage to move the chains.
Well, this time it's going to be a 3rd down and about 4 for the Vikings. Wow, they had him wrapped up in the backfield, let him get a little loose, and picks up first down again. This is the back that we were talking about once again, Cal Kendley. As we mentioned last week, with 170 yards. Again, it looks like he's picked up right where he left off at.
Exactly. Hasn't slowed down at all. And one of the concerns for Coach Pickney this week at practice, since this team wasn't used to winning, is to get the focus still after a big win last week over Marshall. How are they going to keep that tempo and keep these guys focused? They look like they're starting on a good note here tonight.
Well, okay, this time, bit of gang tackling is enough to bring down the running back. They knock him for a loss of about a yard. That time they let number 9 carry the ball for him, giving Cal Kinley a break. That's Terrence Douglas on the carry.
One thing, Daily Breeze, you mentioned that pregame had the Cougars as a dark horse in the division, but they talked a lot about this Cougars defense. They said they're very athletic, very young, but one thing that could hurt them is their depth.
So this time, with it being second and long, the Cougars drop back a couple of defensive backs. However, the Vikings keep it on the ground, and they're running through people. Man.
Kinley carried number 6, Drew Lyons, for about 3 or 4 yards on his back to get the first down.
And I'm sure Drew would appreciate if he also mentioned that he carried Benjamin Delgado with him. It wasn't just Drew.
It wasn't just one.
That's right. That was number 24, Delgado, also. And guess what? That was enough for a first down, and now we've got a timeout being taken on the field. Let's see if we get an indication from the official. I'm going to guess that this timeout was taken by Hawthorne. I didn't see the white hat, the referee Steve Smotris, with the indication. This gives us a moment, though, to set the officiating crew for you. As I mentioned, Steve Smotris is the referee, or Ken Smotris, I should say. Steve is his brother. Steve is the back judge. Rodney King, G. Rodney King, is the umpire. Glenn Noya is the head linesman. And John Bruner is the line judge. Just so you know, fans, the head linesman is the linesman that's on the side of the field with the chain crew. The line judge is on the opposite side of the field. The umpire is behind the defense. The back judge is behind the umpire, and the referee is behind the offense. Just a little football knowledge for you. But right now, this Hawthorne team, boy, they're getting pushed around.
Exactly. Like I said, this defense that was supposed to be very aggressive coming into this football game, they're definitely getting pushed back, and the Vikings are on their way to another first down in this drive. They already have gathered, 3 first downs so far.
Right. This drive started at their own 15-yard line. They are now in Cougar territory at the Cougar 43.
On the conversation I had with Coach Paysinger yesterday, I came to visit them at practice, and I said, what are you going to do different this year in your second year as head coach? He said, much more aggressive defense. I'm going to bring a lot more blitz packages. But so far, this defense is being pushed around by this Vikings O.
They slow him down that time, him being McKinley that we talked about, or Kyle Kenley, I should say, not McKinley, just Kenley. The ball goes back to the 45-yard line, so it's going to be a 3rd and 5.
Oh.
So the Cougars have had them in long third down situations, and for the first time, they're able to stop him. They're giving forward progress. He needed to get to inside the 40, got to the 30, about the 38. So it's going to be about a 4th and 3.
So this is a tricky position in high school football because not a lot of teams have good kickers that can make these kind of field goals. So you pretty much have to go for it here on 4th and 3 for the Vikings.
Well, from this distance, not a lot of colleges have kickers that can make it from here, because that would be the ball would be spotted at the 50. That'd be about a 60-yard field goal. They're going for it, though. So we're getting our first test, our first look at, hey, no guts, no glory. Now we got a flag on the field. Illegal substitution is the indication, and that's going to go against the Vikings.
And that definitely didn't help them. That was a 4th and 3. Now it's a 4th and long, 4th and about 7 here.
And I think that may change the equation a bit for Megiddo, from looks like they were going to go for it to now the Cougars are setting up for the punt return.
Well, exactly, because if you don't go for it and you get stopped, you give the Cougars pretty good starting position.
And they're dropping back Paris McDaniel. Boy, we've called his name several times over the years, along with Jamal Charles. McDaniel 5 and Charles 16. Jamal Charles is the one that takes it.
Oh, wide open.
He's got a seam here. Boy, he's got a convoy in front of him. Can he keep it going? Yes, they turned it around.
Wow, look at that. Rufus.
Touchdown. At the 5:59 mark of the first quarter, that return by Jamal. I said Charles, thinking I'm watching Jamal Charles from Kansas City. Jamal Neal is the name, and he's just a sophomore in the 10th grade, 6 feet, 190 pounds. No flags on the field. Now a flag comes in late. Obviously excessive celebration. But put 6 points on the board for the Cougars.
Well, he looked like Jamal Charles there with the speed and the breakaway. Give a lot of credit to the blockers up front. Also, Paris McDaniel, who was one of the returners, came back and helped on the big block there on the return and giving the Cougars 6 points here early on.
Well, this looks like it'll be one of those penalties that they will assess on the kickoff.
Just we were talking about the Cougars being pushed around here a little bit by the Vikings. They come back with a huge punt return, 4-6. Turns the tempo of the game just like that.
And I don't know if we have a replay. I'd have to be able to see exactly what the distance was on that. But from my recollection, it helped me out to get it. It looks like he fielded it at about the 20-yard line. It wasn't deep. That much I know. So it looks like it was between the 75 and 80-yard punt return by Jamal Neal.
And you mentioned he was a sophomore, 9 sophomores starting for Coach Paysinger's Cougars this year. He's very, very excited about the youth and talent he has. I told him, I'm like, you must be excited for your future here. He's like, I can't wait. After these guys graduate, though, then I might think about retiring.
Right. Hawthorne coming off a tough loss last week, but looks like they've got that loss in their rearview mirror because they've gotten their players excited, their fans excited with that 75-yard punt return by Jamal Neal. We've got a break in the action here while the officials sort it out. Looks like they're ready now for the extra point attempt. That attempt will be made by, don't have him in the program. It's up, and it is good.
That's number 36, Nick Flores, is a senior.
Some of the numbers are a bit deceptive. I keep looking at sixes look like eights.
I was going to say.
But, okay, thank you.
No, I was going to say the same thing. It looked like 38 till I saw on the field. Then I looked at on our monitor, and it was 36. And the lights are coming on now. It's truly Friday Night Lights, the best place to be on Friday nights, right here on CityTV Sports. So far, an exciting first quarter, and we still got 5:57 to play in the first. Hawthorne leads 7-0.
Well, it's and if you're Hawthorne, boy, you talk about a good ending to what had been a rough first 6 minutes because they had gotten pushed all the way up the field. I mean, just literally pushed on their heels. And to come away, though, they held when they had to, and they come away with, and so that penalty, boy, was against, from the looks of it, that penalty was obviously against Blair.
Yeah.
We thought it was against Hawthorne for excessive celebration. Hawthorne's going to be kicking off from the Blair 35-yard line. I mean, now, this might be a makeable field goal.
Let's see if it maybe Coach Pasinger likes this kicker, number 36, Nick Flores. Last year, he had a really good kicker, too, and he said, I've been blessed with some great kickers in my career, and Flores is one of them.
They whistle it dead. Well, I guess, okay, it sailed out the end zone.
Yeah. What? They had the distance, Rufus. It was just a little bit wide left.
A little wide left, and out of all that, Blair, Pasadena Blair, will start at the 20-yard line.
So Blair definitely wants to win here tonight, because otherwise it'll be a long drive home.
And if you're Hawthorne is here pushing for a victory themselves. So again, wanting to get off the schneid for this season and get it going in the right direction. Oh. There's a fumble on the field. Okay, recovered by Blair, but man, a huge loss on that fumble back inside the 15-yard line. You got one official standing right at the 15, so they're going to spot it there, 5-yard loss. That's going to make it a 2nd and 15.
And that's what Coach Pickens now has to get the sideline going, this team going. Hey, you gave up a touchdown, but you look good on offense early on, so you can't get down yet and make these mental mistakes.
Well, a lot of movement that time. They'll always draw the flag now. As always, it's interesting to see who caused who to move.
That was on the defense.
So the defense gives them back the 5 yards that they had earned on the sack. Down remains the same at 2nd down. So now it's going to be a 2nd down and 10.
Oh, and again.
No whistle, though, and you're right, Gideon. I thought I saw the same thing that you did. There was early movement, but no whistle on the play. So they let it go, breaks it a 3rd down, picks up about 3 on it. It's going to be 3rd and 7.
Yeah, it looked like there was going to be another penalty situation there, but obviously the referees have a better view than us.
Bit of a slow-moving first quarter now, especially with the running game. You would have thought it had been through. We've still got 4:50 left here, and there have been very few passes. Is that another fumble on the play?
Another fumble, Rufus, on the play. Looks like number 45 for the Cougars recovers it. Angel Haro, one of the seniors for Pasinger, comes up with a huge play on defense.
And that came at the 4:44 mark. All right, so at 4:44, the first, Cougar defense forces a fumble.
So now we get to see, for the first time on City TV, the Hawthorne Cougars offense. And a dynamic quarterback they'll feature. Incomplete there. Number 10, Marte Mapu, Rufus. I talked to Paysinger about him. He wasn't supposed to be the starting quarterback. The original starting quarterback transferred at the third week of training camp. Mapu was supposed to be a receiver this year. They put him at a quarterback. He hasn't looked back since. Coach Paysinger is very, very excited about it. He said Mapu has great field awareness, and he is very, very organized. He knows where everybody should be at, and he makes sure that everybody's at the right positions.
And of course, they lost a good one from last year, and Patrick Washington, who, as I understand it, is playing some JC ball at LA Southwest.
Yeah, along with left tackle Deshaun Thomas, that was the starting left tackle here for the Cougars last year.
So very quickly, it's a third down and 10 for the Cougars. Ball's at about the 18-yard line. They've got to obviously get down inside the 10 to pick up the first. This was a golden opportunity that the defense gave him. Nice run that time. And, boy, he's going to get to the end zone for the Cougars. That's Paris McDaniel.
Paris McDaniel, like a high-octane vehicle there, just runs through and accelerates to the end zone, wide open, not even touched. And McDaniel sporting a new number this year, wore 25 last year, now sporting just number 5. Homage to Reggie Bush, who wore number 5 in college here at USC. And we called his name a lot, Rufus, last year, one of the dynamic players for Coach Paysinger and this Hawthorne Cougars. And he showed it right there in that last play.
High snap, but to get it down, kicks up, and it is good. So the Cougars jump out to a 14-0 lead here with 4 minutes remaining in the quarter. And now there's another flag on the field. Let's see. Referee Smotrys picks it up. Must mean that he threw the flag. Let's see what the call is. Illegal procedure against the Cougars. So they'll kick again. We'll see if I have to take that extra point off the board.
Oh.
Now
another whistle.
Okay, now that's an illegal substitution. Actually, the first one that I say was an illegal substitution was actually delay a game. This one, illegal substitution by the Vikings. So we go 5 yards forward, then 5 yards back.
We're
then
playing
5
tug of
yards
war.
Forward, right. And for the third time, the kick is up and good.
Well, that gave Flores a little bit of practice there on those kicks.
So he gets the old NBA 3 to make 1.
Yeah, exactly there. But the Cougars will take it because they're up 14 with 4 minutes in the first quarter. And both coming off 2 dynamic plays, one a punt return for a touchdown, and then McDaniel with a beautiful run all the way to the end zone for 6.
So right now, the Cougar faithful, who are out in pretty strong numbers tonight in comparison to Blair. I'm not even sure that all the moms and dads made the trip over for Blair.
Yeah, I see a few people out there, but yeah, definitely it's a long drive from Pasadena, especially in this heat. You'd think they want to get away from the heat and come out here.
Yeah, you would think. And there we see some members of the Hawthorne cheer squad. There's a kickoff. Will it get to the deep man? No, it won't. One of the up guys, number 9, takes it for them. And, of course, again, that's Terrence Douglas. And, well, he falls on the seat of his pants right at the 16-yard line. So, at the 16, it'll be 1st and 10 with 3:59 left here in the first quarter.
First offensive series for the Vikings. They look good. They moved the football. The second offensive series, though, 2 fumbles caused 6 points on the board for Hawthorne. Let's see, maybe third time's a charm for Blair.
Well, and you're exactly right, Egidio, but this Hawthorne defense, and now what's the issue? Now there's a timeout being taken by Blair. So I'm going to assign one timeout to each team because my guess is when they were moving the ball against Hawthorne, even though we didn't see the indication, I got to believe Coach Pazinger called that timeout.
Definitely.
I don't think his guys getting pushed around.
I don't think Pickney would have called that to slow down his momentum he had there on that drive. And something to mention too, the Cougars brought back the same coaching staff that they had last year. So everybody that was with Pazinger in his first year is back in his second year. And a lot of alumni. The quarterback coach is an alumni. The defensive back coach is an alumni. The defensive line coach is an alumni here at Hawthorne.
Well, they know that means they know that we're around the program, the facilities, the field, the community. That's one of the things that's important, Egidio, in growing and developing your program. You need coaches who can identify with the community, both at large and the school community, to get players to want to come out. And when I look down here on the side and I see the numbers that they've got in uniform, this is as big as they've had in a while.
Definitely. You're 100% right there, Rufus.
Another fumble, ball's on the ground. No indication from the Cougars, so I'm going to gather that Blair, and it looks like they did, recovered that fumble. For a team that started out moving the ball so effectively on the field, now they've had 3 fumbles in their last 4 handles of the football.
Exactly. Like I said, after that punt return, this team kind of dropped in momentum here, and there's a lot of football to be played here, Rufus, so you can't get yourself mentally out of the football game yet. And I think another fumble. Wow.
And the officials indicate that, yes, it is a change of possession.
What a turn of events here. 4 fumbles for the Vikings, 2 recovered by the Hawthorne Cougars, and the last one, the last fumble that the Cougars recovered, turned into 6 points. They're already up by 14. Let's see if we can see deja vu.
Deja vu all over again.
Well, last broadcast we did it for football was here in Hawthorne against Beverly Hills, and that was a blowout. This one's looking to shape like the same thing over here tonight against Blair.
All right, now again, more flags on the field. This fumble, the last one, the Egidio, was at the Blair 17. They spot this one at the 15.
And I don't want to bring up old history, but Hawthorne last year did get their first win over Blair in a 69-0 win at Blair. This time they're hosting, and they're looking to do the same thing. They're coming into this game 0-1, are the Hawthorne Cougars.
Once again, ball on the ground, and once again, touchdown. Number 5, Paris McDaniel.
Wow. In the first quarter, McDaniel has 2 touchdowns, both coming from short distance, but nonetheless, that's 14 points for Paris McDaniel because of him and his speed. Beautiful running by McDaniel. And this is his year, Rufus. He's a senior finally at 5'9", 165. He's the featured back, as the extra point is good. But this is his team. I think this is the guy that the Hawthorne Cougars offense is going to feature around.
Well, I think that's at least here in the early going pretty evident. And we've still got 3:14 left here in the first quarter. And our score, 21-0. Not the kind of start that Coach Pickens was hoping for his team. In fact, he was hoping for something very different, but he did say he was a little bit concerned that his guys might have a bit of a letdown. Now here's some things, that they're really learning, because you've got to have 5 guys up on the line, the return line.
Well, yeah, Coach Pickens said we have to tackle and hold on to the football. If we tackle and hold on to the football, we should be in good position. And so far, they haven't been able to hold on to the football. We mentioned 4 fumbles. That just can't happen. That didn't help them.
That did not help at all. And now the ball's going to be spotted. This is the worst field position to start a drive. This is at the 5-yard line, Egidio.
And things are going from bad to worse for the Vikings. That was Noah Young on that kick return who mishandled the football, tried to make something happen, but the Cougars were all over him. And now bad starting for field position for the Vikings once again. Down 21-0 with 3:10 in the first quarter.
Looking to see if they even got back to, well, they got a little on that play. Looks like the official's going to give them some forward progress out. Well, one official is. They haven't moved the chains on the other side. Okay, now they move it a little bit. They moved a down marker. That's how you tell fans, if you're watching, that's not a down marker there. That's a cheer. That's one of the cheer members for the Hawthorne Cougars.
Oh.
Slippery field, at least for the Blair runner.
That's one thing I noticed yesterday when I came to practice here was the condition of the field. And I asked Coach Pasinger about it, and he said we're just going to have to do the best we can with what we have. And there you saw a slip there by the Vikings.
Reminds me of last year at Lawndale when...
Yeah, that was a controversial game if you ask Coach Mathieson.
So now 3rd down and 11, and a stoppage in play and another timeout being taken by Blair.
And you're definitely right. This is a very slow first quarter, 151 still in the first, and it's 21-0 Hawthorne here, Rufus.
And it's surprising because normally when you've got the ball on the ground, the clock just runs. So that's why I was a bit, and they ran the whole time on that first possession. Until they got it there, and look up, and only 6 minutes had gone by, and I'm thinking for sure the quarter's almost over.
Yeah. No, definitely. I don't think Blair has even attempted a pass play here tonight. It's been all run from their offense.
And Coach Pickens said that, just as you mentioned, talks about keeping it basic for his guys. And they started out well, okay?
Definitely, yeah.
But somewhere along the way, you're right. They've lost a little fire, I think, inside. Man, all of that enthusiasm from that win last week looks like it's gone out the door.
Oh, yeah, and that can happen. You get deflated really, really easy. You come out with a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement, and when somebody scores 3 straight touchdowns on you, you're going to be let down for sure.
And right now, they're just trying to get out of the first quarter. It's 3rd and 11, okay? Looks like if that's against Hawthorne, it'll make it 3rd and 6.
Looks like it was a number 52, Marcos Bahina. Bahina, 5'8", 280, another one of those big boys up front on the Cougars' defensive line.
That Blair line has 1 or 2 themselves. That's big number 75 that you see right there. We'll get him for you in a moment because we do have him in the program. Okay, here's some running room here for the quarterback. Boy, that's going to be enough to pick up the first, and that's Terrence Douglas.
Nice job by Douglas. Kind of faked the pass and then rolled out to the right side there. Shook a couple tackles on the way to a first down for the Vikings. That's what they needed to get that sideline and that team back into this ball game.
you're almost glad to see something happen for them because, boy, they had such a streak of bad luck. And believe it or not, we've still got 1:30 left in the first quarter, fans. I scored 21-0. Got another offside, that time by the right side of the Cougar defensive line. That's big number 28. Guilty of the encroachment. That's LaSala Ty, 6'5", 240. Man, I'm wondering if we'll see him on the basketball team.
It might be. What is he? Let's see, number 28. He's a junior. Yeah, we're going to have to talk to Coach Gray, a.k.a. Jello, see if he's going to recruit him.
Well, one thing is they say you can't teach size. It's got to be something a guy 6'5" can do to help you out, okay?
Well, if he plays in football, he's got to be athletic, so you can definitely use him, I'm pretty sure, on the basketball court.
Okay. Illegal procedure against the Vikings.
And it looks like they're trading penalties back and forth here.
Back and forth. And that's a sign of inexperience, among other things. You know, if it were an experienced team, you would say it's a lack of discipline. And some might argue the point. But we know that inexperience is more of a factor with this Blair team than is a lack of discipline. Because Coach Pickens doesn't strike me as the type of guy who has much tolerance for a lack of discipline.
From what we talked to him earlier pregame, that's what it sounded like. Here's a reversal.
Nice open field tackle there by Jamal Neal, who scored the first touchdown for the Cougars on a 75-yard punt return. Nice looking play there. So now he's kind of using his best athletes because there was number 16 with the handle, and we've called his name a couple of times tonight, along with who's Cal Kenley, handing it off to Sebastian McKenson, who is actually one of their better defenders.
Well, you got it. When you're down 21-0, you got to go to your star players and reach to them to get you back into this ball game. And that looks like it's going to be the last play of the quarter. With about 7 seconds remaining here. Quarterback keeper. There you saw Kinley trying something but nothing. Number 9, Saladin Davis with a huge tackle.
And that will bring us to the end of the quarter, but a good quarter for the Hawthorne Cougars as they lead 21-0 on City TV Sports. You see it there on your TV monitor. We're going to take a quick break and come back to you with second quarter action in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Donnell Beverly from the University of Connecticut, home of the 2011 National Championship UConn Huskies basketball team, and your losing your Olympians.
Beverly around the back, follow-away jumper, good, beautiful shot.
It wasn't too long ago that I was playing basketball right here.
I just want to thank him for having me here. I'm honored to play here.
And the Huskies are the top dog in 2011.
Winning the NCAA championship has always been a goal of mine, but so is getting a great education that will last me a lifetime. You can achieve your goals too. All you have to do is work hard and dream hard, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
All right, we're back, and as we prepare for second quarter action here at Hellcat Field, let's go down to Sebastian Spencer on the sideline.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Coach Pickens comes in this game with a lot of experience, and he's really on a high right now, beating his former team, Marshall, last week. But it's not paying dividends too much for him right now. His faith in his running game, Hawthorne defense seems to be eating that up right now. But we'll see can they continue in the second quarter. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sebastian. Sebastian Spencer, of course, well known in local circles around here.
Definitely. A veteran with City TV here, Lawndale. And he went to a few of these schools, actually. I believe he went to Lusinger and also Lawndale, I believe.
So now going the other way this time. Oh! Wow, and that was nearly intercepted. Regretting that he didn't make it. That's number 7. That was Jordan France. And yes, Jordan, I understand your frustration because that one hit you right in the hands, and that had pick 6 written all over it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so now it's going to be a 4th down play.
Yeah, that would have been great field position, or even a pick 6, like you said, for France.
And that was their first pass of the game.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we haven't seen it. High snap goes over the head of the kicker, and it's going to be down at the, looks like 3-yard line. So from the 3 of Blair, it'll be 1st and goal for the Hawthorne Cougars to start the second quarter with 11:53. Here's the replay finally in, and there you see it covered by the kicker, the intended kicker, number 26, and just didn't get it. That was Jose Ontiveros, but that wasn't his fault, man. That was a high snap that was difficult to handle.
Yeah, hey, Jordan fans, don't worry too much because your team looks like they're knocking on the door of another touchdown, regardless of that dropped interception.
That's what we like to see, Cougar fans in the crowd.
Oh, yeah, they're excited.
Defense stiffens just a little bit for Blair as they bring down Marte Mape or Mape. How does he pronounce it?
Mapu, I think.
Mapu, okay.
That's what Coach told me, so.
They fake the inside handoff, quarterback keeper, and in on the stop, Terrence Douglas. As we mentioned, you know, they've got some athletes. They've got 2 or 3 very good players, of which Douglas is one. And now, but here's what's going to happen over time, Egidio, is that they're going to get worn down as we see walking into the end zone, literally, with his 3rd touchdown of the night, Paris McDaniel.
McDaniel so far has been the featured back, and he's earning that name because he has 21 points, 3 touchdowns for the Cougars.
And this is what Coach Pickens was afraid of, and he expressed a concern about seeing a running clock. And the clock starts to run when the lead, when there's a 40-point margin. And what we're approaching that quick, fast, and in a hurry, as right now at the 11-14 mark here in the second quarter, our score 28-0 in favor of the Hawthorne Cougars.
Now the Cougars are more than halfway there to that running clock. And Coach Pasinger had a huge smile on his face yesterday when I talked to him in practice. I'm pretty sure that smile hasn't left him since kickoff started. He's got to be extremely happy with the way his team is playing here tonight. He definitely showed up. And what a great feeling to get your first win of the year here at home in front of your faithful fans. No
Are
better
you calling
feeling.
it already? Are you calling it? Fan, we've got a scoop here at the 11-14 mark of the second quarter. Egidio DeLeo has already called the game.
Let's see. We do work for CityTV Lawndale, I mean.
And here's the kickoff coming from the 40. Okay, once again, some of the Blair inexperience when they don't have the correct number of men. Okay. Well, there was no flag on the play, just the ball was incorrectly placed at the 40 instead of the 35-yard line. Now, Blair needs to understand their guys have got to come up another 5.
Well, interesting to note here, Coach Pickens told us that Blair doesn't have a JV team. So everybody is getting their experience right here, right now at the varsity level. So a lot of these guys haven't played football or haven't played at this level at all. So they're learning, and they're learning quick here.
Once again, they're still having problems handling the kickoffs. That'll be something they'll practice next week for sure.
Well, in that situation there, you cannot stay. If you're gonna charge at the football, Rufus, and you're gonna attack, and you gotta make up your mind. Either you're going for it, and you're gonna fall on top of that football if you're not gonna handle it. You can't just stay away and pretend and play hot potato with it. You have to jump on top of the football because you just cost your team a few yards there.
And I think that's a good analogy, Gideon, to call it hot potato. Obviously, at this point, you've got to make some adjustment. Your up back, your deep backs, and your up men have both got to be good ball handlers, because that's where they're struggling at. The guys who are up, the up return men, they're fumbling it and causing the problem. You got to have your sure hands folks out there.
Yeah, they call them the hands team. The guys they're back there supposed to have the best hands on the team.
There's a double reverse coming. Let's see, looking for the sideline. Can he turn it up? Can't quite get turned up. As number 16 for the Cougars, Jamal Neal, brings him down.
And if we can see a replay actually of that play, there it is. I think if he would have stuck to his route, he kind of cut it back inside. I don't know why. If he would have stuck to his route, he was wide open. If he stayed on the left side.
And you got to give Jamal Neal a lot of credit, because that was basically a foot race to the edge.
Yeah.
And if he makes the edge, he's gone.
He's got speed for sure. We saw it a little bit earlier on today.
So it's a 2nd down and 10 now. Ball still at the 20-yard line.
Power run there for the Vikings again. Kyle Kinley up the middle. Only one pass play, surprisingly. That almost got picked off. And that was the last offensive series for the Vikings.
But at least what we see, it looks like they've gotten. Well, first of all, they seem to have addressed the fumbling problem. The last few handoffs have been successfully handled. And it started to pick up a little bit of momentum, although it's 3rd and long here.
And they run to the right side, nothing doing, a bunch of red jerseys right on top of Kinley. Only about a 2-yard gain on that run. Brings up 4th down for the Vikings.
4th and about 4. They're out across the 25. They need to get to the 30. Let's see if the scoreboard shows that. No, they don't deal with down and distance, but we can see it clearly from our vantage point that it's a 4th and 4. And using their 3rd and final timeout at the 9:02 mark. The brain trust for the Blair Vikings are going to look at their options, and they've got a couple, considering it's a 4th and 4, and Hawthorne has shown a propensity throughout the night to jump. And, a hard count here could, in fact, give you a cheap first down if you're Blair. I don't think they're thinking about going for it the conventional way here and risking turning the ball over to the Cougars at and around the 26-yard line, considering you're down 28-0.
I think it's the old mentality of you line up as pretending you're going to go for it, see if you can get him to jump, which Terrence Douglas, the quarterback, number 9 for the Vikings, has managed to get the Cougars to jump a lot here tonight. If you can, that's 4 yards. You'll get a 5-yard penalty, more than enough for a first down, and that'll keep this drive alive for the Vikings, who desperately need something positive here with 9:02 in the second quarter before halftime.
So they come out of the timeout. Let's see what they've got in store.
And they're lining up as if they're going to go for it. There's Douglas.
Well, they're definitely lining up if they're going to go for it. I don't think they are, but let's see what happens. Well, they do.
Yeah. Oh!
Well, not enough.
And he tripped there. That was Kinley on the carry. You could have thought that was a wide open hole there. And maybe if he didn't trip, it would have been close to a first down, but unfortunately turnover on downs. Cougars football.
And the referee indicates that he was short on the play. So gutsy call by the Viking staff. I thought they would have tried to draw him off. Instead, they run a play. Not successful, but hey, you know what? In part, you got to start doing some things and giving you guys a lot of different looks. Yes, the easier thing would have been to have just kicked it away. There were some other options. They elected to go for it. Wasn't successful. And now Hawthorne has the ball at the 28-yard line, and they drop back to pass. And that pass is complete down to the 20.
And number 14 with the tackle for the Vikings, Noah Young. And number 18 with the reception for the Cougars, Rajat Neely, and one of the sophomores starting for Paysinger this year.
Again, we've got a replay coming in. Nice pass where he had to go up and get it under center again. Marte Maypool, the sophomore, 6 foot, 160 pounds, gives it off to the inside and dragging runners up the field. On his back is number 45 for the Cougars. That's Angel Hotto.
And Angel Hotto, one of the defensive linemen for the Cougars, doing a nice job on that side of the football. And there you see him carrying the football on offense, just running right through these Viking defenders here tonight.
And now you've got a 1st and goal for the Cougars. And boy, that's McDaniel again trying to get to the corner. And good. That's McDaniel getting to the edge, but forced out of bounds before he could get in the end zone. From our vantage point, we know they're inside the 5. Looks like they're down at about the 4-yard line.
A lot of similarities from the quarterback Marte Mapu and the quarterback here last year for the Cougars.
Once again, ball on the ground, this time met once again by a big defender from Blair. It's going to stop him short. So the Blair defense stiffening just a bit as McDaniel on a second attempt at getting in the end zone.
Well, that would be a huge boost for this defense if they can stop him here and not let him in the end zone.
He was met head on by number 44 on that play.
That's one of the guys that Coach Pickens told us to watch out for here tonight. Sebastian McKimpson. And just like that, Paris McDaniel with another score for the Hawthorne Cougars, his 4th touchdown of the night. And Hawthorne cruising on to a big lead with 7:09 in the second quarter.
Right, and that's another 3-yard run for McDaniels. As you said, as the video said, fans, that's 4 touchdowns rather. He's got 1 from 18, 1 from 10. Those both were in the first quarter. They came literally less than a minute apart. And he's got 2 here in the second quarter. And that extends the lead now to 35-0.
So far, this Cougars offense hasn't really been challenged. They've had short field positions, like you mentioned, all the scoring drives for McDaniel. But hey, they'll take it. They're up 35-0 here with 7:09 before they hit the locker rooms for halftime. And like we mentioned, Hawthorne got their first win of the season last year against Blair at Blair in Pasadena, 69-0. Again, this is a brand new coaching staff, though. A brand new philosophy for the Blair Vikings, but the results so far are looking the same as they did last year.
And remember, this drive was set up when Blair went for it on 4th and 4 actually, from their own 26-yard line. Failed to gain it, turned the ball over to the Cougars. Cougars, converted it for the score.
There's a kickoff as this Cougars crowd, they're into it. They're making noise tonight. And why wouldn't they? They're up 35-0.
And now we've got another stoppage in play.
They're going to redo that, it looks like.
We've had a lot of calls. That might be one of the things that we can get. A couple of them that haven't been quite understood. I mean, there's no flag on seemingly on this call.
Yeah, I was waiting for the referee to signal something, but they just placed the ball back on the tee, and they're just going to redo it here. I don't know why, but here we go again.
So the kicker, Nick Flores, getting a lot of work tonight. This one stays in. It's going to be taken. It's at the 20. It's got a little bit of running room, but the hole quickly closes out at the 24-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Vikings.
And Noah Young there, good handle on the football this time, but a very short return. The Cougars are there ready to pounce on him. And we'll see this Vikings offense once again, who looked good in their first opening series. Ever since then, though, fumble problems and penalties have shut them out.
Exactly right, Gideon, boy. Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. And when you're winning a turnover battle, you're losing a football game. All right.
Most likely in 99.9% of the situations.
Oh, there's their second pass. That one looked like it should have been. I thought you was going to get a defensive call against Hawthorne because there was a lot of early contact, but apparently it was within that 5-yard neutral zone.
And Pace Singer said this defense is going to be very, very aggressive this year. And they're smelling blood right now on the Vikings, and they're not easing up.
So a 2nd down and 10. This time they air it out a little bit. Wow, and that one is knocked down. A lot of air underneath that pass. I mean, he actually had a receiver open, but the ball hung up there too long and gave the Cougar defender an opportunity to get under it. As you can see, his intended receiver, Douglas, was behind the defense.
It looks like they're switching it up here. They're bringing in number 12, Danny Cabral, as a quarterback, and then putting Douglas as a receiver. Is trying anything to get a spark out of this offense. Oh.
Yeah. So again, another pass that's knocked down, and now Cabral goes limping off. Well, maybe
he's staying in there. And we hadn't seen only one pass play attempt by the Vikings before the series so far. It's been all pass.
Right, they've attempted 3, and once again they're in 4th down. Now I'm a little bit surprised at this. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
You know, I mean, I understand that you may not have much of a kicking game. I don't know if they have a kicking game at all, but you know, I think Hawthorne has already shown you what they can do. You certainly can't afford to give them the ball with this type of field position, where once again they're being given the ball at the 25-yard line. So at the 6:48 mark.
Yeah, I didn't understand that play call and decision at all by Coach Pickens there, especially the pass, which wasn't even close. There wasn't even an intended receiver nearby. The throw, and now you're giving this dynamic offense tonight that has scored on you with ease in all of their possessions. Another great field position to start off. They do have a kicker listed, number 26, Jose Ontiveros.
And another thing to look at, Jose, is that they only control the ball for 21 seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
All quick passes, all incomplete, so no really
no clock management.
No clock management whatsoever from the Vikings. And now you bring this defense has been worn out all night. You bring them back on the field to defend this dynamic Cougars offense. And it looks like Paysinger is bringing his starting quarterback out and is putting Carlos Jacob at quarterback.
Well, you know, a game like this gives you an opportunity to get some guys some experience. If they can get what we're all hoping for is the invoking of the mercy rule, which occurs at 40 points, and the clock then runs for the rest of the game. McDaniel with it. McDaniel goes to the outside. The defender turns in. He turns out. He picks up the first down. As he gets down, looks like he's inside the 10. I'm looking at the official over here on the far side, and he has a foot inside the 10-yard line.
Well, if you look at the replay, no white jerseys whatsoever in McDaniel's way. The defense was nowhere to be found for at least 5 or 6 seconds there. McDaniel could do pretty much what he wanted in that run. And this defense looks worn out here, but there's still a lot of football to be played.
There's a lot of football to be played. Okay, and no surprise, we've got another flag on the play.
Bad
procedure against the Cougars.
Yellow flag special tonight. They've been all over the field.
And that'll back them up to the 13-yard line now, where it'll be first and goal.
Oh, finally some pressure.
Drops back to pass. Up here in the booth, they were encouraging Carlos Jacobo to run it in. and he was a little bit late in making the decision. And that's what you see here. By the time he decides to turn it up, the defense has started to collapse. If he had made that decision much earlier, he may have had 6.
Well, that's an experience that comes in, once he gets more games under his belt, more minutes at the varsity level. He's a sophomore, and he's the backup quarterback for the Hawthorne Cougars, so he's getting some playing time now. But stuff like that definitely, Rufus, once you get more reps in, you're going to make better decisions and quicker decisions.
This time, Saladin Davis, a senior, 5'7", 160. He's brought down in the backfield. Here you see again on the replay, Haggedio. That looks like Davis with it, and
Brandon Green, number 55 for the Vikings, bringing a little bit of pressure out of the defensive end position. And these Cougar fans, they're cheering and screaming here. They're excited.
Wow, wide open. And that's a 6, and that's for number 18, Raji Neely. I see no flags on the play, so that means the touchdown is good.
No contention. Look at number 44 just standing and looking on the replay there. Didn't even contend that at all. This defense, I don't know if they're out there to practice or if they're out there to play the football game, but somebody needs to tell them, hey, this is the varsity level. It's Friday night football. At least make an effort to stop this offense.
That was a 13-yard pass. That kick is up, and it's also good.
Right now, it gets to be about pride, Rufus. When you're down 42-0, highly unlikely of a comeback. But you play for pride right now. You play for stats. You wanna leave at least on some high notes that you can work on going into next week's game. So, like we mentioned, still a lot of football. 4:50 remaining in the second quarter.
And once again, the scoring Cougar on that play was, that was Raji Neely. From Jacopo, and now we're at 42-0.
Neely, one of those sophomore receivers that the Cougars are very, very excited to have going forward in the future. 6'2", 180.
Here's the kickoff again, and once again, it's mishandled into the end zone, so that'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
And let's see what Douglas can do for this Vikings offense here. Down 42-0 with 4:47 in the second quarter. You got to get some type of move the chains, something here, Rufus, to get your team excited and get your sideline going into the halftime, into the locker rooms.
Someone assume that the mercy rule kicks in the second half, because otherwise, I mean, we've got a 42-0 lead. Maybe that's something that Sebastian, if he gets a moment with one of the members of the officiating crew, can check on for us, or someone down there, because I think right now that's kind of sort of, or looking to now, got another substitution penalty being called against Blair. So things are just going from bad to worse.
And I believe, Rufus, because I did the game last week, losing right now, Segundo, I believe in California, it's after the third quarter. If you're leading into the third quarter, if you're leading by 40 or more, that's when the running clock starts taking into effect. So I believe in the second half, in the third quarter, it will take effect.
Ball put up, thrown into double coverage, nearly triple coverage, falls incomplete, intended for Terrence Douglas.
And they're sticking with Douglas as a receiver now. He started as a starting quarterback for the Vikings.
Well, it's one of those situations to get on your hear him talk about this. The idea is to get the ball in Douglas's hands however you can. I think in this case you may have to go back to him at quarterback, giving the ball off the snap, and let your playmakers make plays.
Well, one thing, yeah, maybe the reporters down there can check for us, because we haven't called Kyle Kinley's name in a while, and he started off on a great note in the first offensive series. He's the starting running back, had 170 yards last week, and we haven't called his name at all in the second quarter.
And you're exactly right, and the question becomes is whether or not we even see him on the field. And at this point, I don't see him on the field.
Maybe an injury we don't know about yet. That's why maybe they forced Douglas to move to the receiver position. As he played quarterback on that last snap, handing off.
And that's going to
there
bring
he is.
up. Okay, you're right. There he is, and that's going to bring up a fourth down. Clock running, 3:50 and moving left here in the first half. And I know that Coach Pickens is convinced that if he gives him the ball on a short field, looks like this time they are in fact going to kick it away.
Well, you have to. I mean, even if you don't have that great of a kicking game, I would assume that he can get at least 10, 15 yards, which would give your defense a little bit of breathing room. Oh!
And it's blocked. And let's see if they pick it up. Wow. Did they cover it?
Yes, the
Okay.
referee signaling a touchdown.
And let's see who was that. Looks like it was number 7 that recovered. So, boy, just about every way that it can be. That was a block punt. Maybe that's why they didn't go for the block punt. That was Jordan France. Let's see. Here's the replay, fans.
Yeah, 32 coming in with a block,
No.
and then it's
a safety. Because they failed to cover the ball.
It just rolled out of the end zone. Right.
Well, you had two guys on top of it. I mean, they're both going to regret the fact that they couldn't pick it up. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see it again, but it was clearly playable for the touchdown. So the block punt leads to a safety. Once again, here we see it. It was blocked here. It's pretty live. Okay. And we won't hold that against them this time. I mean, that one.
Yeah, France there tried to slide in and kind of put his body between the football and the sideline there. But still, they get 2 points, add on to their lead. 44-0 now with 3:09 remaining in the second quarter. And I'll track my statement back, and I said, even if you don't have a great kicking game, you can at least get the punt 15, 20 yards, and unfortunately that didn't happen for the Vikings.
Well, now we get a look at the kicking team because they have to kick it, and fortunately, Hawthorne can't pressure them on it. So, yes, you're right, 44-0 is the score.
There's the kick, but a whistle blows it dead, another flag. A lot of these flags on these kickoffs here tonight, Rufus. And we'll have another redo.
So, kick this time will be from the, wow, he backs him up.
I hope Coach Pickens has a great speech in his back pocket because he needs to motivate this team quick at halftime to show some type of life on any side of the football.
Kicks it out to the 50. Has some run room, nearly falls down. They're going to say, not so much as going to use the NFL term, gave himself up. He actually didn't, but once a knee touched the ground, that was the end of that.
That's exactly right there. You see the replay handled. Makes a couple guys miss there, jukes him. Tries to cut it back. There's his knee in his hand, and he's down right there. As soon as your knee touches the ground, you are considered down, and that's where the Cougars will start on offense.
So, the Blair Vikings catch a break there. Pretty good free kick because he kicked it from his own 10. It sailed out to the 50 where it was handled, and he finally was down inside the 40 at about the 39, where it's a 1st and 10 pass over the middle, incomplete.
And Marte Mapu back at quarterback, and now no receivers whatsoever where the ball was. Again, the quarterback's a sophomore. Both starting receivers are sophomores, so inexperience comes in. And now Mapu comes out at quarterback, and number 12, Carlos Jacobo, back as the signal caller for the Cougars.
Okay, ball on the ground, running wild for the Cougars. Saladin Davis as he picks up a first down at the 20-yard line. And while they move the chains, that gives us a chance to get ready and go to our sideline with tap. Okay, we got something special coming up, fans, so stay right there. But we're going to go back to action down on the field where it's a first down for the Cougars at the 20-yard line.
A nice run there by Davis. Picked up where McDaniel left off, and Davis getting some playing time now.
Jacobo still under center at quarterback. He gives it off to number 9, Davis. Davis gets around the left side, breaks a tackle, still on his feet. Davis gets in the end zone. Touchdown! That was a 20-yard touchdown run.
Wow, Davis takes the handoff and goes left, untouched, in the end zone for 6. And if we watch the replay here, Davis wasn't even contested. These defenders didn't even try. Everybody's standing up. No one's low. No one's in their stance. No one is doing the fundamentals that Coach Pickens said they're working on. Fundamental tackling. You get low, get in your stance. You got to wrap your guy up. You can't be up standing in full position. As you see, the kick is good for the Cougars. And here you see it again, the handoff. Davis takes it, goes left. No one in sight, first of all. Great block by Neal. There's number 42 with a tackle, high tackle, doesn't even touch him. Another guy tries to go to the knees, just poor tackling, doesn't wrap around. Number 55 wraps around but is standing up. So just what not to do if you want to show that play, what not to do on defense.
Exactly. And, boy, that makes it 51-0 now. And we still got 2 minutes left here in the first half.
Wow.
We'll have a change of possession in a moment, and hopefully on the change of possession after the kickoff, we'll have an opportunity to go down to Tamarlada.
One of our new
Okay.
reporters.
All right. Well, they'll tell us when. This kickoff, they'll let sail into the end zone. Wise decision. So this is going to give them some of their best field position in a long time out at the 20-yard line.
2:04 for the Vikings before they get a break at halftime. And what has been a debacle here on all sides of the football, special teams, defense, and offense. If you're a Blair fan, if you're a Cougars fan, everything's going right.
Well, that's the Cougar yawn, and that's because, man, you can afford that when you're up 51-0. It's like, okay, when's halftime coming? I mean, I think even she's saying, isn't this clock supposed to be running? But Egidio has told us that, no, first of all, that's a second half event.
Yeah, I believe in the third quarter it'll take effect now since Hawthorne is leading by 40 or more. There's a juke there.
Wow, that's one of their best runs in a long time. And that was Kyle Kendley. And that's the first time, boy, that's the way he was running the first drive of the game. That handoff took place at the 20, and here he got it out to the 37-yard line, 17-yard run by Kyle Kendley.
Yeah, Kendley goes right, comes back, and goes left, and a huge hole, and drags number 6. Drew lands once again, and that's why we're surprised because he did such a great job running in the first series, and we haven't called his name since.
Comes around the side, boy, takes a couple of hard hits. He pops back up, picks up about, for sure, 7 on the play. And you see him coming right in front, right into your living room again.
That's your stud player. The Vikings should have been riding him this whole game. And now it looks like they're going to number 16. And he's doing what he does best.
Well, there's a saying, you ride them till they break, and it must have been in the first quarter. He did break because most of these guys are going both ways. Again, Terrence Douglas, he's driven into the sod.
And Neal comes with a body slam, WWE style, on Douglas, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and long for the Vikings.
3rd and about 8, ball spotted at the 40. They need to get to, well, let's call it 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
It's at the 40. They need to get to the 47 to pick their own 47, that is, to pick up the first down.
Kelly once again with the handoff, gains about 3 or 4 yards there. It's going to be short of a first down, though.
Now, considering the times they've gone before, and that official over on the far side is telling these guys, wind the clock, wind the clock.
Yeah, Blair has no timeouts. They used them all in the first quarter. So they can't stop the clock by any means. Hawthorne's not going to stop the clock, so they're going for it here on 4th and short.
And they pick it up. Let's see if clock should stop on the first down, and it does.
Now you got to get your offense ready because as soon as they set the chains here, the clock's going to run, and there it goes. You have 30 seconds. If you do want to run another play, 26 seconds now. You got to get to the line quick. 20 seconds, and bad clock management by the Vikings and quarterback Douglas.
I'm not sure that that's not on purpose. It's a first down, and that should end the first half as the clock continues to run. 3, 2, 1. And that'll take us to halftime. So, boy, what a half. After the first series was dominated by the Vikings and Blair, for a couple of plays, things turned around. You talk about a 360 again. That was about a 720.
That was all the way around twice. Yeah. But we thought this was going to be a competitive game from that first series. The Vikings drove with no problem. But ever since that first series, it's been all Hawthorne Cougars. They have pounced on the Vikings, and they haven't let go.
I believe we've got Ivory, Tamara, that's her cousin, but that's another story I'll tell you. I think we've got Tammy Latta down sideline with a report. Tammy. Okay, it looks like we've got a few technical difficulties. We'll bring it back up here. Looks like we're going to have Tammy in just a second. I tell you what, Egidio, let's go back down to Tammy Latta.
After losing last week by double digits, the Cougars are up by 51 points. I had a chance to catch up with the quarterback coach, and I asked him, what is your team doing different this week that they didn't do last week? He said they're more focused in playing their assignments. He also said he's very pleased with how his team has responded in the first half. Let's see if they can keep it up. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Tammy. And with that takes us to halftime. We're going to regroup. Blair's going to regroup. We still got another half of football to go. If you're a Cougar fan, you got to be excited. You got to be loving it. And I know that this is a weaker Blair team than they're going to face, Egidio. But, boy, they're doing some things good that the Cougar faithful have every reason to be optimistic about.
Definitely a lot of things. So stay tuned in the third quarter. There's going to be a lot of more dynamic offense. And this defense is going to be aggressive. And they're not going to stop till the clock strikes 0.
All right, so with that, we're going to half here on City TV Sports with the Hawthorne Cougars leading 51-0. We'll be back with second half action in a few moments.
Hi, I'm Donnell Beverly from the University of Connecticut, home of the 2011 National Championship Yukon Huskies basketball team, and your losing year Olympians.
Beverly around the back, follow-away jumper, good, beautiful shot.
It wasn't too long ago that I was playing basketball right here.
I just want to thank him for having me here. I'm honored to play here.
And the Huskies are the top dog in 2011.
Winning the NCAA championship has always been a goal of mine, but so is getting a great education that will last me a lifetime. You can achieve your goals too. All you have to do is work hard and dream hard, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
All right, fans, welcome back here to Halcap Field as the Hawthorne Cougars prepare to receive the second half kickoff. But let's go down to Sebastian Spencer.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I think Coach Paysinger is pretty happy, but Coach Pickens on the other end, he is definitely not. I went to go listen in on the huddle right after the half as he talks to his team, and he basically told them, I've been playing football for about 12 years, and I've been coaching for a long time as well, and I've never gotten beat 51-0. And he said it's just a symbol of these guys not showing up to practice, not having any faith in themselves. And basically, Kendall, he's running everything for himself right now, so we'll see if they can put it together in the second half. I don't think they'll be coming back. They have a huge mountain to climb, but we'll see what they can do. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sebastian. And you're right, I'm sure Coach Pickens was trying to find the inspirational words to get his team going. Here's the second half kickoff. It bounces around a little bit, but finally taken by McDaniel. And boy, well, looks like defense got a little bit of inspiration there as they step in to bring them down at the 23-yard line where the Cougars are going offense here to start the second half.
Yeah, Coach Pickens was screaming at his team, pretty much telling them, hey, now you got to play for pride. You know, you're down 51-0. Make something happen, something to build on from here on out. It wasn't happening at all. I mean, you can't blame them, down 51 in 2 quarters of football.
especially in a game where, as we mentioned, they got off to a good start. Then the wheels kind of came out from under them, but they've done some things pretty good. Right now, here's an opportunity, although it's not fair in some regards to the defense, who spent a lot of time on the field tonight, Egidio.
Yeah, definitely, and there's a handoff to McDaniel. McDaniel takes it and does what he does best. Huge game for a first down.
Right, and in the process, one of the defenders for the Vikings looks like he may be injured on that play as the ball comes out to the 40-yard line where it's a first down. Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay, Egidio.
Yeah, exactly. McDaniel kind of crashed with his quarterback there, but still, and that's what makes the difference between a good player and a great player. Makes a play out of a disaster there. And looks like number 15, number 17.
16.
16.
60. That's just official signaling. 1, 6.
The pressure.
You don't add them up. It's not a math test.
The pressure trying to get it right quickly. Live on air, got to me there, Rufus.
Yeah. Thank you for that replay, and it does look like that was 16 and Cal Kenley. And boy, if he's out for any appreciable time, that's a big blow to this team. But you're right, as you look at it, that's a lot of what it looks like. Doesn't, appear to be anything more serious than that, than having the wind knocked out of him. You can see there him clutching in the midsection.
Yeah, he had McDaniels on top of him, rolled over him. All that weight plus the pads and all that stuff, when it comes down to that type of force, it's going to knock the wind out of you. You need a couple minutes down. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine, but they need him. Coach Pickens, Sebastian told me that he went up to Kyle Kenley and told him, get what you can get. This is your time to shine because you're not getting much help. It's pretty much you're the highlighted guy, and hopefully he can come back for the Vikings because they desperately need him.
Right. Well, as I said, we've seen, pretty much the stars, of their team. And they've got a few, but not nearly enough. Mm-hmm. And certainly Kyle Kenley is one. Terrence Douglas is another. Wow, here's the end around, man. Losing it there. Okay, well they're still sticking their nose in there, Gideon.
Oh, yeah.
That was number 55 in on the tackle. That was Brendan Green.
Yeah, nice job there by Green coming in with the tackle.
Wow, that ball actually was on the ground for a moment before it was picked up by the quarterback, Carlos Jacobo.
Yeah, good call there. I didn't see that at first until we saw it on the replay. But here's the second and about 3 for the Hawthorne Cougars. Big sack by the Vikings.
That was number 50, Derek Richardson, in on that one.
There you go. Right away, as soon as the ball was snapped, number 50 right in the face of Jacobo. Slams them down, and that's what this Viking defense needs. Push them back on 3rd down.
So they've got the Cougars on their heels just a little bit. 3rd and long. Ball needs to get to the 50. It's outside of the 45. Once again, they're going to stack them up right here at the line of scrimmage. So looks like Coach Pickens' words of inspiration may have taken hold with this, and certainly thus far with the defense of the Vikings.
Yeah, great job of the Vikings defense forcing a 4th down there. Number 42, Rival Max, and number 58, Xavier Guerrero, with the big stop on defense, forcing for the first time the Cougars to punt to the Vikings here.
Okay, and I was just looking at that clock, so obviously that Mercer rule doesn't kick in until the 4th quarter.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying, because now the clock's running. I'm not sure. If in fact there's a running clock, it runs except for timeouts or an official stoppage of play.
Oh, there's a flag. They do stop the clock. There, the referees finally signals for them to continue running the clock. And that penalty goes against the Cougars.
And it does. 4th and 10. Are they going to back them up?
Number 36 backed upon Nick Flores, who's getting a lot of work here tonight as a kicker. His first punting situation, but he's kicked the football a lot on extra points and kickoffs.
Well, he definitely has.
Crowd's cheering for him. A lot of fans in here cheering for Flores.
And the Vikings have one man back who can't get a good read on his number, but it falls short anyway at the 46-yard line, 47, let's call it, where it'll be 1st and 10. Now, that's definitely the best field position that Blair's had since the first quarter.
I was thinking the same thing as the clock runs here, 7:13 and counting. We'll see for the first time in the second half the Blair offense, and hopefully they've been inspired like the defense was by Coach Pickens' speech in the locker room.
Defense definitely came out. I mean, and you like to see that. That's a positive that they can take away. Let's see if the offense can do a little something for them. Wow, 2 Cougars fell over each other, but he just couldn't get his traction going. There was number 5, Charlton Blaylock, who actually had some daylight and had a running lane, but a Cougar got a paw on him just enough to bring him down. We're going to see that here when he turns it up. That's number 32 for the Cougars, so kudos to him. That's Lorenzo Williams. He's a junior, 5'11", 170-pound linebacker.
Well, makes the guy miss, and he's off to the sidelines. Charlton Blaylock with a nice run there for the Vikings, a sophomore.
And that's enough for the first down as the head linesman signals move the chains.
And Rufus, Coach Pickens told us, he's like, the first thing he told us, he said, I want you guys to know this is a very, very young team. And a lot of sophomores, I think only a few seniors, 7 seniors on this Viking squad. Definitely a rebuilding program.
A rebuilding program. They got off the schneid a little bit last week. That was a huge building block with the win against Marshall. They had come in here tonight hoping to build on it, but Coach Pickens was also realistic. They say this guy's somewhat had the big head about how things were going, and this will bring them back down to reality.
Yeah,
now the indication is for him to stop the clock. Guys, come on, wake up. As we got an injured player on the field. Looks like it's a Blair Viking player.
Definitely don't want to see serious injuries, when it's a game like this. 51-0.
Right now, looks like cramping from the way they're treating them.
That's a big thing. The weather has been a factor the last couple of weeks.
All right. And while we've got a break in the action due to the player down on the field, that gives us an opportunity to go down to Sebastian Spencer.
Thanks a lot, guys. I got an injury update on Kyle Kinley. Went over there on the sideline of the Vikings, and he actually took a hard hit to the ribs. The trainer said that he will be all right, and Coach said it's very likely that he will come back in the game. But in a game like this where it's 51-0, I don't know if you want to put your best player back in the game with the hard-hitting defense of the Cougars right now, but we'll see if they can do anything to get this league down. Back to you guys.
Excellent observation by Sebastian. I tend to agree with him. I mean, you got to live to fight another day again. Yeah.
Exactly.
So in the interest of player safety, as always, time, of course, is not a factor. You take as much time as necessary to get the player prepared to leave the field. Right now, it looks like, he still has some some pain, as you can tell by the fact that they're holding the face mask. But you can also tell, I'm not a doctor here, but it's obvious that the player's not seriously injured, and that's the main thing.
And that's a good thing. Looks like they're kind of stretching him out. There he goes. He's limping a little bit, but he's walking off on his own, which is a good sign, definitely, for the Blair Vikings and for everybody.
Okay, and that's 14. Was that 14? Is that Noah?
See there.
Is that Noah Young in your?
Yeah, I have Noah Young, number 14.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page there. So when we come back to action, it's 2nd down and 10 at the 44-yard line for the Vikings. They're still looking to scratch. Fumble on the play, but the quarterback picks it up. That was shades of the old Nebraska Fumblerooski play. Although I'm sure that wasn't a called play.
I don't think that was in the playbook, but Douglas gained. There's a timeout by the Vikings. Looks like Douglas gained a little bit there, maybe a yard on that fumble, which could have been worse. 51-0, 4:33. The clock has stopped because of a timeout by the Vikings, but we are in running clock situation, Rufus, since Hawthorne is up by more than 40 points.
Absolutely are. Boy, game like this, you really start to look forward to what's next for these teams. For these teams, particularly if you're a Hawthorne Cougar fan, you want to know, hey, we're liking this. Who do we got next? And I'll tell you who you got next. You go to LA Southwest College, nice facilities they have there, and you're going to be playing Verbum Day. So that it's a road game, apparently home for Verbum Day because the schedule indicates that they're at Verbum Day for that game. Then they come back in 2 weeks to play here at home Golden Valley from Santa Clarita before the season gets started in earnest. And nice way, they laid it up, they went deep. Pass falls incomplete, but they're still trying. And that pass was intended for, although he's going to come up limping a little bit, looks like number 83.
Douglas showed off his arm strength there. The beautiful throw, just a little bit overthrown, and some defenders there. Some of the Cougars had a lot to do with it, tipping the ball. But a nice throw, nonetheless.
Very nice throw, and it was intended for Daymanuel Mayfield.
I'm excited for Hawthorne once they get into league play. They have some good matchups on the schedule.
Wow, another pass, man. The throws are starting to look better. They're just coming up short. I mean, he's got a nice tight spiral. That one simply didn't have enough distance under it. You see him throw it, sets his feet.
Yeah, he's got good movements, good motion. He stops, plants his feet.
Yeah, just short.
Just a little bit short, exactly. And that's going to come with practice. He is a junior. Once he gets more reps at the varsity level. Again, Coach Pickens told us these guys thought they won the Super Bowl last year when they won that game against Marshall. So getting them ready to play and getting them to come back to reality, come back to earth, it was the challenge this week. And fortunately, it's showing on the field, down 51.
And that was a 4th down play that they went for it on. So Cougars get the ball 1st and 10 at their own 43-yard line.
Shotgun formation for the Cougars. They hand it off. Number 9, Davis.
He dances up the sideline. You're right, very nice run on the play. Although they're going to say a second, and where they positioned it. We're going.
Moved it back a little bit. Short gain, about
Short gain, a lot of running, short gain. Because I'm like, well, wow. I thought it was a nice run, except it was east and west instead of north and south.
You're going the wrong way.
Now that's more like it. That's north-south running right there. And, of course, that's on that carry for the Cougars. That's Saladin Davis. Probably be seeing a lot of him tonight. I would suspect that guys like Paris McDaniel are pretty much finished for the night in the backfield. They may get a little mop-up duty, but, I mean, he's already got 4 touchdowns in the book, so...
Well, Davis has a touchdown of his own, and that's a good-looking backup, yeah. To have there, you must be happy if you're Coach Paysinger.
Drop back inside handoff, boy, in the open field. That was number 24 for the Cougars. Again, now that's Benjamin Delgado. He's a junior, 5'7", 179 pounds. First time we've called his name. Again, though, on defense.
Now, Delgado was one of the guys that Paysinger told me he really likes on defense. He is his defensive captain. He's the signal caller on that Cougars defense. Very, very impresses the coaching staff with number 24, Benjamin Delgado, a junior, who's going to be back for another year next year.
But give Chardon Blaylock some credit for getting in there and bringing him down. This time they go for the high tackles. Some of this, Gideon, we talked about, is truly just the fundamentals of football. I mean, you see a lot of high tackles, which is extremely hard as the clock winds down the last couple of seconds here in the third quarter. Mercifully, with the Cougars leading 51-0, the clock runs continuously. We've got fourth quarter action that's going to be coming up in a moment. And again, as we start to look down the road for the Cougars, how do you? I mean, sometimes it's kind of hard to judge a performance like this when you look at the level of competition. But what do you see for them down the road?
So far, based on this game, again, they lost last week 40-17, so that was a big loss. But Coach Paysinger told me it's because they had 5 starters. They were out because of paperwork and stuff like that, miscellaneous stuff. So those guys obviously are back in the lineup tonight. And he wouldn't give me the names because there was some school stuff going on there, so he kept them undisclosed. But they're back in and it's showing. Now, again, we don't know if it's just a weaker Blair team that they're playing or if this team is that good. If you look at their schedule, Verbum Day, Golden Valley, Lusinger, Santa Monica, Beverly Hills is an easy team. El Segundo is going to be tough. They have Culver City and then at Lawndale. So they definitely have the schedule, I believe, to make a lot of noise. And the Daily Breeze, like we mentioned, did predict them to be the dark horse in this division. A lot of sophomores. They're inexperienced, but they're athletic and they're gifted. So we're going to see how far that can take them. Just straight up athletic ability. And a pretty easy schedule with a few tough matchups there. El Segundo, Santa Monica, and Culver City. And Lawndale is always a good game when these two teams match up.
Okay, so it's first and goal for the Cougars. They fumble it. Well, ball's loose, still loose. Blair has a chance. They can't pick up the fumble, but they do push the Cougars back to the 30-yard line. Boy, a loss of about 18 on the play.
Big loss there by the Cougars. Great job by the Vikings defense. Let's see who got in there. That was just a bad snap by the center. Number 55 hits the quarterback, and let's see who. There's number 42 as well with a shoelace tackle on number 12, the quarterback Carlos Jacobo, who pretty much couldn't do anything. It was just a bad snap, and there's a handoff and a defense right there to meet him.
Okay, so again, good D by them. Let's face it, you've got some guys who are getting some playing time who ordinarily wouldn't, but that's good. That's good because you never know. Football's a game where it's always, next man up. That's one of those, man, where you can really, really tear up a knee.
I was just going to say that looked bad on his knee and his ankle there. Got twisted up. thankfully.
These are young guys, man. They're flexible. I mean,
they do yoga and stuff.
Right. They can do that, man. If that had been me, my career would be over right now.
One play, boom.
That was it.
Delgado with another nice run. Like I said, he's a defensive captain, but he's getting some offensive looks here.
Well, everybody now that they, and if you're Hawthorne and you see that clock running like it is, you know the game is going a little faster, and you want to make sure you get a shot at it before that thing runs out on you.
Definitely.
So under center, Carlos Jacobo. In the backfield, he gives it off to number 9, Saladin Davis. Davis goes around the left side.
And Hawthorne's not doing anything crazy. They're sticking to fundamental football. They're running the football up the middle, left, right. It's just this defense can't tackle them. They can't get these guys down. They're standing straight up, which is a no-no. The first thing coach tells you when they're teaching you how to tackle is do not stand up. You got to get low. You got to get inside. And these guys are just not doing that at all. And obviously the results speak for themselves here.
And they're also being respectful, you know, and sportsmanlike.
Definitely.
And I like that. And coach is going about as deep into his bench as he can possibly go, and still make it a legitimate contest.
I like Coach Paysinger. He's a great guy off the field, and I think he's a perfect fit for this Hawthorne Cougars to change things around here. He had a lot of success at Beverly Hills. He has a son in the NFL who plays for the New York Giants, starts as an inside linebacker. So I think he's the right coach for this school, and I think he's doing some great things. He had 3 wins in his first year here. He's about to get his first win of the 2014 season.
Which was 3 more than they had in the last 5. Yeah.
Exactly. And actually, interesting fact, Rufus, I learned yesterday, Coach Paysinger played for the Detroit Lions in 1983 1 year as a linebacker.
Wow. Now that I didn't know.
I didn't either. I was surprised because I'm a Lions fan, so that was pretty cool for me to find out.
So carrying the ball, Chardon Blaylock, and fight still left in this Vikings team. Of course, they would like, your objectives change, Gideon, as an event, as a game goes along, as life goes along. And right now, you start out, 48 minutes ago with the objective of winning. Well, now you got to change because that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
So now the objective, I believe, for them is to score if they can.
100%.
Okay?
I've played. When I played high school football, I played all 4 years on teams that have been beaten on the opposite side when it's been 40-0 or 50-0. Right. And that's the objective. You're 100% right. You want to score. That gives you a little bit of momentum in practice this upcoming week, on the bus ride home if you're a away team. So you definitely want to move the football, score if you can, get something positive happening that the coaches can rally around and the guys can rally around moving forward into next week's matchup.
There was a penalty against them. Boy, this is a nice run coming to the side. As a lead blocker out, he's going to get knocked out of bounds. No worse for wear. A little respect shown both ways. These Hawthorne Cougars, I mean, they know that number 9, Terrence Douglas, is a football player.
Definitely.
I mean, he's the kind of guy that you go, man, look at that guy on my team.
Yeah, definitely. Right. I was just going to say, he's a good-looking athlete. He's done some good things here tonight. Unfortunately, it doesn't show on the scoreboard, but he's done some nice plays for this Blair's Vikings offense.
They are at the 26-yard line to pick up a first down. They've got to get out to the 36. The marker is showing that it's a 1st and 10. So apparently the previous play yielded them a first down.
They showed some good signs on offense, the Vikings I'm talking about. On defense, I think is where they mostly should be concerned. The rest of the way, they definitely need to learn the fundamentals of tackling and be a little bit more aggressive on some defensive plays. But their offense has sparks of making stuff happen. Kinley, Douglas, and Noah Young, a few of the guys that definitely show signs of playmakers.
And they complete their first pass of the game, and that's good enough for a first down that takes them out to the 47. Once again, seeing Terrence Douglas on the play, under center, makes the completion, gets them out to the 47-yard line. This is the second time they've been at least in that position on the field.
Right there, I think is where inexperience comes in, and we'll see on the replay. Kinley had the ball, wide open lane, no need to cut it inside. He did, and he met a Cougar defender there. If he would have kept on his route where he was supposed to be, and that was an outside play there, you see it, he would have been wide open. No reason to cut it inside.
Right.
And right into the hands of a Cougar defender. If he would have stuck to his lane, he would have had a huge gain, perhaps a first down for the Vikings.
And by then, a couple of defenders for the Cougars are in there, including Meshach Mageo, who's a 6'3", 275 sophomore.
Well, defenders are like sharks. When they see somebody hit the offensive player, they all gather around it. And here is Douglas with a huge run. And wow, shades of the Steelers-Browns game last week.
Exactly.
Almost with a kick to the defender. Great run by Douglas.
Well, he tried to hurl him, and Douglas picks up the first down. Fans, we've got 4:32 left in the contest. Right now, Hawthorne Cougars leading 51-0, but the Vikings are on the march, and as we say to Gideon, the objective right now for them that they would like to achieve at this point is to get a score, and they're 30 yards from pay dirt.
I think we would all like to see that. I mean, it's these guys have fought hard here tonight, and there's a big run by the fullback. It's the third carry of the night, number 44,
Wow.
Sebastian McKimson.
Yep. And he's out near a first down. Looks like it may be second and short. It's going to be about a yard short, maybe even half a yard. What they have to realize is that the clock is not their ally. So, you got to move with some sense of urgency.
Now, I do have 2 timeouts, I believe, left, does Blair.
That's enough to pick up the first down. So the chains will move. Ordinarily, the clock would stop, but in this case, it continues to run.
And great job by the fans sticking around here. They want to celebrate with these Hawthorne Cougars on a huge win, which looks like it's closing in on.
So, ball now at the 18-yard line. So, 1st and 10 from the Cougar 18 for the Vikings of Blair. Pasadena, Blair.
It's a beautiful city, Pasadena. I like that area. Douglas goes nowhere, gets wrapped around by 2 Cougar defenders.
Now we got a flag on the play. My guess is that it, well, I won't even guess, but the thought is that it'll be against the Cougars. Well, I don't know. From the indication by that line judge over on the far side, this one could go either way.
They're still discussing it a little bit.
Personal foul against the Cougars, though.
You had it, Rufus.
And of course, what Pasadena says is that, okay, go ahead and say it and let us keep moving, man.
Well, they do have 2 timeouts. I'm surprised they're not using them. They're taking their time getting up to the line and setting up here.
Well, a little bit hard to see what happens, but whatever happened, it meant Douglas kept the ball. And you're right, with a minute and a half to go at Gideon, and they are down inside the 10, inside the 5.
Yeah. 3 or
but
4
the clock
yards
is
away.
running, and you're right, and they've got 2 touchdowns. We're going to watch it from here.
Oh.
Now we got a flag on the play. Flags against them.
Yeah, that was movement on number 42 for the Vikings, Rebo Max.
Okay.
There's a timeout finally
All right.
by Blair.
1:10 left on the clock. 51-0, but Blair's knocking at the door. They're down. Ball is spotted at just outside the 5-yard line. And it's going to be what, second down? So they've got 2 cracks at it. They used one of their timeouts. He says they've got 2, but technically they only got 1 because I know for sure they used one earlier.
No, you're correct. Because they have 1 timeout remaining now after that. And the reason I said why I was surprised why they're not using the timeouts is because you have a young quarterback, inexperienced team overall, not the best at clock management, get those timeouts. So you do score. You don't come out with nothing. You're knocking at the door. Might as well grab something out of this to build on.
Right. They are definitely knocking at the door here. And looks like this one may get there.
Oh, nice block by the Vikings. That picks up touchdown for number 5.
Jordan Blaylock from 5 yards out. Boy, if we can see that replay again, I think as Agidio picked up, it was the block that sprung him. Here he's coming around the side. We'll see what whoa! That's where the block came in at.
Jesus Corona, number 11, should be credited with that as well.
So with 1:10 left, 3-yard run, Blaylock. Looks like they're going to go for 2. No surprise there. Okay. Here's a foul. Clock still runs. I would think now, and I know it still runs, but that you would give them the legitimate opportunity.
Yeah, you have to give them the PAT. At least that's how they do it in the pro. I'm not sure high school rules here in the state of California, but
okay,
we're lining
got to
up.
get under and snap. Okay, they get the snap away. It's no good. And with that, the final. Hawthorne at home in their 2014 season opener. They win 51-0 over a game but overmatched Blair Viking team. I said 51-0. I obviously stand corrected. You saw the last score. You see the scoreboard. 51-6. Gideon, your thoughts?
Exactly, 51-6. Definitely something positive for the Blair Vikings. Number 5 with a touchdown, Chardon Blaylock, helped the Vikings get something positive. That, like I said, I keep repeating the same thing, but you need that to work on going into your next matchup for Blair. They definitely needed that. For Coach Pasinger and his Cougars, they get the first win. Deja vu from last year. They beat Blair for their first win last year in the regime of Coach Pasinger. This year, they get their first win against Blair once again here at home to start the 2014 season, and they go to 1-1 on the young season.
1-1 on the young season, and boy, if you think this was exciting, as I mentioned, next week they've got Verbum Day, and as the season rolls along, Golden Valley, Lusinger, Santa Monica, then now you're into league play, Beverly Hills, El Segundo, Culver City, and they close out the season against Lawndale. Our schedule, though, has a couple of exciting games. Next week, we've got Lawndale at Lusinger. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But for right now, let's continue to focus here. I tell you, it looks like Sebastian's trying to line somebody up. But while he's trying to do that, we'll take a quick break on City TV with our final 51-6 for the Hawthorne Cougars, where we're going to be coming back with some interviews. We'll see Sebastian with Coach Pasinger, so it looks like we're going to stay here live at Gideon. Good work by Sebastian to have him. If we can get the camera crew ready. Tom, are you there? I'll throw it down on your direction. I can't hear you. All right.
Talk to his players first here, give a little congratulations, a little pep talk before we get some congratulatory words
And this is one of those things that get, okay, we see a lot of different things. This looks like maybe it's a new tradition here at Hawthorne. I've not seen this one, but the entire team has come over to the fans, to the crowd. You know, different schools have different things. Coach Pasinger joined his team. Now he's going back out with Sebastian, and I hope that all of that's ready. All right. Okay, so let's go down to the Hawthorne Cougar sideline where we've got Sebastian Spencer with Coach Pasinger.
Thanks a lot, guys. Down here on the field with Coach Pasinger. Coach, you guys routed this team 51-0. What went on in practice this week in order for them to have a performance like this today?
Our whole goal was to focus on us. No one else, not Blair, not anyone else but Hawthorne High School. And that was our only goal, and that's what we came out to do.
This is your second year here, trying to redo the face of this franchise. What have you been telling these guys?
Dream. You got to dream. You got to work, the discipline, and stay focused. We have a new saying: winners versus losers. You know, winners find a way to get it done. Losers make excuses. We're not looking for excuses.
Definitely. You definitely have a lot of power in the backfield. Paris McDaniel as well, playing really well tonight, and so is Jamil too. Talk about those guys and what they mean to your team.
Well, Paris is a returning starter for us, so he's used to being in the grind and know what to do, and he worked hard in the offseason to get it done. Jamal, a receiver, he's a 10th grader. He's a young guy, but he's been playing his whole life, and he knows the game. He's a student of the game, and that's a plus.
And what do you look forward to seeing from them this season? I know you said, so to get to you, that you say you're very impatient, feel like you have a talented team and you guys can make some moves this year.
Yes, we're very talented. If I can keep them focused and disciplined, we're going to surprise some teams this year.
Good game, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Back to you guys. Have an interview coming up next for you with a player.
All right. Thank you very much, Sebastian. We appreciate that. Some excellent insight from Coach Pasinger as he talked about his team. Looks like now we've got Tamra Lata. I have to resist the temptation to call her Ivory, which is her cousin who played at the University of North Carolina. So, and she's with Paris McDaniel. Looks like they're ready. So let's go ahead and throw it down there to Tamra and Paris.
Hey guys, I'm here with Paris McNeil. What allowed your team to get this win tonight?
Well, before the game, we were just pumped up and fired up, and we just practiced every day, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday for this game, and we were just ready. Thursday walkthroughs, we were just comfortable with what we were doing.
I mean,
going through the emotions and we just got out here and got our work done and just did what we were supposed to do and came out with a victory.
I know you are elusive out here tonight. You have 4 touchdowns, but talk about the team performance. What does this team need to do to carry this type of energy over to the next game?
All you gotta do is work hard in practice and do exactly what we just did out here. Just move around on the ball, swerve everywhere, and just keep our blocking going. I couldn't do this without my offensive line, and our defense did the job for us, and that's all.
What did you learn about this team tonight?
I mean, they're an okay team for us. There's nothing really much to say. I mean, it was an okay game. It was an okay game. That's all I can say.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, and good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Back to you guys.
All right. Thanks, Tammy. Sometimes the candor of young people is enough to get us. Now, Sebastian's going over, looks like he's going to go over and talk to, if he's able to pull that one off with Coach Pickens and his crew. But while he's doing that, again, what we're talking about and where Tammy was going with them is to talk about the future and what's next. Mm-hmm. And, of course, they've got some real tests coming up over the next few weeks as they prepare. These are all pre-league games. This is number 2 of 5.
Definitely.
Before you get into league play and in the Ocean League. But tonight they're going to enjoy this one. Blair's going to have to regroup. And while we're doing all that, we'll start off the season just like we ended it last year with our player of the game as well as our tip of the hat award.
An exciting game here by the Hawthorne Cougars, and are we going to do that right now, Rufus?
I don't know. I think we probably have the opportunity, I believe, to take a break for a moment, and then when we come back, looks like Sebastian may have someone, and if not, then we'll go to player of the game and tip of the hat, because we've got a lot of candidates tonight.
Sounds great. It's been an amazing show off by the Hawthorne Cougars.
All right, so we're going to break on City TV as we celebrate a victory by the Hawthorne Cougars, 51-6 over the Vikings of Blair.
Hi, I'm Donnell Beverly from the University of Connecticut, home of the 2011 National Championship Yukon Huskies basketball team, and your losing your Olympians.
Beverly around the back, follow-away jumper. Good, beautiful shot.
It wasn't too long ago that I was playing basketball right here.
I just want to thank him for having me here. I'm honored to play here.
And the Huskies are the top dog in 2011.
Winning the NCAA championship has always been a goal of mine, but so is getting a great education that will last me a lifetime. You can achieve your goals too. All you have to do is work hard and dream hard, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
All right, we're back, fans, here at a darkened Hellcat Field. They've shut the lights out on us, man. They're ready to get the party started right now in video, so they're shutting this place down and getting over to the house party, wherever it may be. We've got a little bit of work left to do, as we always do here on City TV, in which the players and their families and all love, and that's to announce our player of the game and our tip of the hat award winner. So first, I'll let you do the honors. Let's start with the player of the game.
Well, player of the game, like you mentioned, a lot of candidates for this, a lot of great showings by the Hawthorne Cougars, but we decided unanimously decision, it goes to number 5, Paris McDaniel. Of course, the senior, 4 total touchdowns, 2 in the first quarter and then 2 in the second quarter. Easy night all in the first half of Paris McDaniel, your senior. It's going to be his team, Rufus, going forward. He's the featured back, and he showed us a lot of spark that he can do it. He can carry this football team. It's going to be, like I said, a pretty easy schedule going forward. A few tough matchups, like I mentioned, El Segundo, Culver City, Santa Monica as well. But Paris McDaniel, I think, should have a great season for the Hawthorne Cougars this year in his senior year. And what a way to start it off at home with 4 touchdowns.
All right. And that brings us, of course, next to the hotly contested, highly coveted Tip of the Hat Award. And this Tip of the Hat, this is new and being debuted for
Beautiful
this
hat.
game. Thank you. This is a Kangol top hat, summer hat. It came in good use today, considering what the weather was. Our Tip of the Hat Award winner, and this is one that I really enjoy recognizing this young man for, and I'm going to give it to the kicker, number 36, Nick Flores, and that's because Nick did something I'm not sure we've ever seen, and I kid you not. Nick converted 7 of 7 extra points tonight.
Impressive.
Excellent kicking game, and that's always been a underappreciated dimension to football in this area for our local teams. And boy, Hawthorne showed tonight that they've got a kicker. Nick stepped up, man. He knocked every one of them through. One he had to do 3 times just to get credit for
Exactly.
one. But he got it done. So Nick Flores, hey, as the kicker, you are the Tip of the Hat Award winner tonight. Congratulations to you. And with that, fans, it looks like, boy, under the circumstances with the lights being dark, and we're gonna prepare to say goodnight to you. Again, we'll remind you that next week we've got Lusinger and Lawndale. That game's going to be at Lusinger, I do believe. So it certainly will. So we hope that you'll join us then. But for Tammy Latta, for Sebastian Spencer as our sideline reporters, for my colleague Hagidio, and for Lou Stowers, our forever colleague who is on assignment tonight, I'm Rufus Washington saying it has been a pleasure to kick off the 2014 season here at Hawthorne with a victory by the Cougars, 51-6 over the visiting Vikings of Blair. Fans, enjoy yourself, and we look forward to seeing you next week on City TV.